Welcome to the Deaf Kid Show. Let's go.
Hey! All right. Welcome to the GK Show. Fun music at the beginning. Yeah! Hope you're having a good day. Let's start the pod.
Okay, I am still sick. Like, when am I not going to be sick? I stay sick forever. So I finished watching 13 Reasons Why, the last 3 episodes, so I'm going to cover that, and then I'll get to that Wired magazine article, unless I go really long on 13 Reasons Why, then I'll just save the Wired magazine article for when I get back into, doing more of what I usually do, which is not just covering 13 Reasons Why. But I binged it. I binged season 3 of 13 Reasons Why on this trip. So, okay, first off, if you haven't yet, please take 20 seconds, rate my podcast 5 stars, it really helps out. Leave a review, share an episode if you like it. It's the only way it's gonna keep growing, Alright, so here we go, 13 Reasons Why. I took notes, like some notes here and there, not like a ton or anything. I'm not doing like some recap beat by beat or anything, but basically I called that Zach, who's the good-looking, handsome Asian guy, was going to be more involved. They really kind of put that on the back burner for most of the season, so I'm like, okay, clearly Zach's going to be involved. They kind of kept him out of the storyline. He didn't want to help out with the whole helping Tyler thing because he was like, it's good, I'm not going to do it, I'm out, whatever. So I knew he'd be involved, and they they show Zach, I don't know, this is episode 10 or 11, I don't know which one this, or I guess 11, 12, or 13 I watched. Yeah, that's what I watched. I don't know. They show Zach going to the pier to fight Bryce. By the way, let's just talk about this a couple things real quick. One, that actor, all these actors are great. I'm really impressed with these actors. That guy who plays Clay is really good. Jess is really good. Justin, I think Justin's really good. That guy is very good. He plays like a jock he's a drug addict and all that stuff. And I think I looked him up last year or something. I looked up the guy in real life, and I think he's gay. I think he has like a boyfriend and stuff. So a lot of people like playing gay who aren't gay. A lot of people playing straight who aren't straight, and they're just great actors. You know what I mean? Clay staying serious all the time, that's not easy to do. I mean, maybe for me because I'm such a goofball, but I could do comedic acting pretty easily. But being like really serious and believable and staying in character and like not getting in your own head, like that's really, really hard. Drama's really tough. So they're all such great actors, but that guy that plays Zach, he's like the stud athlete at the school, and I'm sorry, like he's in shape, like you can tell he works out, he has like muscles, I guess. He does not look athletic at all. Like, he was the star basketball player. Apparently he's one of the star football players. He's the captain, and he's apparently going to go to college for football too. When they showed the basketball scenes, and I don't know if that was season 1 or season 2 or both, you could just tell when someone knows how to play basketball. He was so heavy-footed, like just jogging up and down the court, and you could tell when he shot the ball, like, this guy stinks at basketball in real life, which is fine, but it's like, come on, just tell me he's the best basketball player on the show. He doesn't even look like a basketball player. He's kind of thicker, you know what I mean? And he's supposed to be some amazing basketball player. I just don't buy it. Football maybe, but after I saw him jog on the basketball court in that other season, whatever. So anyways, weird choice for that he's some star athlete. Also, there's a lot of like real scrawny dudes who are supposed to be like football, like Justin's supposed to be a football player. That guy is super, super skinny. Like, he's like as skinny as Clay, but he's supposed to be like some tough guy. But whatever, I still think he's a great actor. So here's the thing I was going to say. Bryce, like I said, this is the thing that is just like kind of bugging me, because they did this whole thing this season where they show this evolution of Bryce, And he's this guy who, he realizes everything that he did to people, and all of a sudden he cares about what he did to people, even though he did it for years and years and years. Excuse me. And he doesn't even, I guess, realize that until he kind of loses all his friends. So whatever, they want to play that up. Like the sympathetic serial rapist, right? And I pushed back on that. And then there were moments, I'll be honest, when I'm watching the show where I'm like, oh man, because that guy that plays Bryce, he's a great actor too. And I did feel for him, in those moments, but I was still but he's still a piece of shit. I've been saying. And then they show, things just don't really fully add up to me, right? Because they show the super sensitive Bryce. He's helping Tyler. He finds out what happened to Tyler, and he's like, yo, man, I'm going to, take care of that for you. He confronts Monty, and he's like, you better leave that guy alone, or I'm going to fucking tell everybody about all the, messed up shit you did, and you're going down. You leave him alone. I swear, I'm trying to do right by everybody, right? He's trying to do right by Jess, and I'm just skipping around now, but he gives her that tape or whatever, and he says how sorry he is and what he did, and all that stuff. And he says he thinks about Hannah all the time and what he did, and he's such a bad guy, he just wants to make it right, and he listens to the tapes and Tony and all that stuff, right? He's still a piece of shit. He's still a total piece of shit. He finds out before the football game, we find out in the tunnel, Chloe tells him, his ex-girlfriend, he sees her and he's trying to be nice, sensitive Bryce, and then she's like, you should know that I was pregnant and it was yours. And he's just like, oh my God, whatever. And he's still sensitive Bryce, right? Still new, sensitive, nice guy Bryce. Then she was like, yeah, but I had Zach to help me go through it or whatever. Then he gets insanely jealous, thinking that Zach stole his girlfriend, instead of just being taking it as oh, he was there for you. I mean, I get it. You could take that as oh, they dated or whatever. And he did see them give a little hug or something and a kiss on the cheek before Zach ran out. But then he gets on a football field and he's the same old piece of shit. I get that he's a football game and they're talking shit to Zach, whatever, that's fine. But then in the fight, he makes it a point to put on his helmet. This is a guy who apparently finally is realizing over the last few months that he's ruined so many lives, right? He's ruined so many lives and he hates himself for it. He's trying to repent and do whatever he can to be a good person now. Then he sees Zach in a fight with somebody, puts his helmet on, and purposely spears the guy in the knee to ruin his life. To ruin Zach's life. All because he thought that Zach, I think even Zach said to him on the football field before that, because when they were playing, he said something to him I was just her friend or something, or maybe that was when he fought him on the pier. I don't know, but he did say something. I think even Zach said whatever. Anyways, so he makes it a point to ruin another guy's life in a certain way, because Zach's character was getting a scholarship for sports. He was apparently going to get a football scholarship because he mentioned it in another episode. This is for some of us is an only way to get a scholarship and blah blah blah, right? To go to college. So he makes it a point. He makes a conscious effort, not even really in the moment, kind of in the moment, but really he sat there. He looks over. He sees Zach. He knows the guy's. He could take him out. Puts his helmet on, runs over and ruins a guy's career. Why are we still supposed to think he's I feel like he is still the piece of shit deep down. He's always going to revert back to that because that's exactly what he did. The second got a little bit butthurt knowing that Zach helped Chloe through an abortion with Bryce's baby, right? So he's still a total piece of shit. And then I still can't get over. Well, also let's just get. Now that I'm talking about it, when they're on the pier and Zach beats the shit out of Bryce, which finally somebody beats the shit out of Bryce. Bryce is another guy who doesn't really look like a tough guy. He's a great actor and everything, and he really plays the douche well. He plays the sensitive guy. He's a really good actor. That guy Monty's a really good actor. Whatever, they're all good actors. I gotta stop saying that. But anyways, so Zach's beating the shit out of Bryce on the pier, and I feel like everyone's kind of watching, going good. Finally, Bryce is getting the shit kicked out of him, and then. But as he's getting the shit kicked out of him, he's just he goes back to being, he's not the guy who's dude, look, I'm sorry, I'm changed. I wish I didn't treat Chloe so bad. You know what I mean? He's not doing that. He's going, you fucker, Zach. Yeah, she wouldn't fuck you because you're a pussy ass bitch. You're a pussy ass bitch. That's why she wouldn't fuck you. Yeah, it's first off, little ironic getting your ass kicked by a guy and then calling him a pussy ass bitch over and over again. Like, doesn't really, you know what I mean? It doesn't really jive. So anyways, he was a piece of shit there too. He was like, he's still this guy who's a total piece of shit. All right, so moving on. Just got to get through these notes, and then we could put this 13 Reasons Why to rest until season 4. Boner. So Ani, I still can't get over the fact that Ani was knowingly sleeping with a guy who's a serial rapist. Like, that still it doesn't sit well with me. I do understand she wasn't there for all of it, but she did say at the beginning of the season, yeah, I read online about it, you know, all this stuff. And like the tapes were online and all that, so there's really no, you know, the whole trial thing in season 2 was about, like, is the school responsible, you know? And Bryce got off because, you know, it was, I don't know, why did he get off again? I can't remember. But the point is, the tapes were online for a while. And I like how they say, like, they were taken down. They say, Tony says that in that episode where Bryce listens to the tapes. It's the internet. They'd be somewhere. You know what I mean? It's the internet. You can't, like, people take tweets down all the time or take things down. People are like, here it is if you want to see it. You know, it's not hard to find things on the internet like that. So, anyways, I just think that's weird. I still think that's weird that she was, I get that you could see a different side of somebody, but I don't know. I mean, okay, here's a little example. I had a relative who was in prison. I remember when I went to visit him in prison, I was in high school, and you have to walk prisoners to the vending machine where they have the food, you know, because they can't handle money. You can't hand them money because they don't want them using it to buy things or whatever, do things in prison. So I had to walk with this person. I don't want to say because she's doing well now and whatever. Don't want anyone connecting dots. But so I walk him to the vending machine. As we pass, you pass like when you visit people in prison, by the way, I mean, at least at this prison, it's not like you see in movies, it's always like that glass, you know, that like and you like put your hand up. That's not it. You sit in a room, everybody's visiting. I remember we're sitting at like a round table. Everybody's at round tables, and everyone's kind of like in their visiting room, right? And I'm not saying the tables are always round, by the way, but at every prison. But so anyways, we passed this guy who was with, you know, would appear to be like his wife or girlfriend and like their daughter, young little daughter. And so my relative I was with was like, oh, hey, Jeff, this is my buddy Rock. And I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? Like, shook his hand because, you know, my relative is introducing me to this person. So like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. I like met his, you know, wife or girlfriend who said hi to the little, I can't remember if the girl was like a little girl or a baby. I think it was a little girl. And so then I go to the vending machine, whatever, get a relative, the stuff, the food that he wanted. Another side note, on a side note, I remember how excited he was to get the vending machine food. You know, vending machine food is like crap. I'm talking about like cheeseburgers that are in plastic wrappers in a vending machine that you can get, that you can like heat up in a microwave. That kind of crappy food. He was really excited to eat that because he said it was so much better than the prison food. I'm like, wow, prison food must really suck if that is insane. I mean, you know what I mean? So anyways, we got back to our table, and I said, hey, what did your buddy Rock do? You know, like, why is he in prison? And he goes, I think he said he killed 2 people. I think he said double homicide. And I was like, oh. And it's just like weird because I just saw a guy like sitting with his wife and kid and shook his hand. I was like, oh, nice to meet you because, you know, my relative. And so I get the whole people who are horrible aren't horrible 24/7 every second of every day. So Ani could see this other side of Bryce. And then, but I don't know, man. I just think I would be very disappointed in my daughter if she was sleeping with a guy who was a known serial rapist. That would just be, you know what I mean? Like, I want the best for both my kids, but you don't know who they're going to end up with. I'm just hoping she doesn't fall for guys who are serial rapists and like unapologetic for a very long time and lied and like slandered, smeared other people in court just to save their own ass. So anyways, sorry. So that still doesn't sit well with me. We got the whole thing where like Jess gives the speech in front of both schools, and then people are all standing up going like, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm so-and-so, I'm a survivor. Justin stands up. Whoa, that was big, dude. That was big. Justin stands up. Then he starts telling Jess about how when he got molested and everything. And I don't know, that was deep. This show is just heavy, man. This is a heavy, heavy show. When they show a montage, I'm just going to go a couple of bullet points I remember. I remember when like everybody's stressing about what's going to happen because everybody had motive. They're cutting like a little... cutting to each person. I don't know if it's a montage technically, but yeah, it's like a montage, like music's playing, they're showing everyone stressing in their own houses or wherever they are. Tony's pounding tequila. Dude, what is it with that character Tony? First off, there's so many... First off, I'm gonna say it again. Great actor. That guy's a really, really good actor. That dude is like 5'3". He's supposed to be like super tough. He's supposed to be in high school. He has like, his family gets deported and the high school doesn't even know or something. He runs the entire business himself. No one thinks that's weird. It's just like so many things about that guy's character. Like I said, he doesn't appear to be in high school. He has like the knowledge of a man who's been on the earth for 60 years. He has all these weird connections. And like, who got all these connections when they're supposedly 16? I think he's supposed to be 16 in the first season. So I guess now he's 18. I don't know. It's very weird. The whole character, but I just thought it was funny, like he's pounding tequila, like give the Mexican guy tequila. Mexicans don't all just drink tequila, but whatever. Maybe a little sensitive, you know what I mean? Because I got my Mexican family. Okay, so the stunt at the football game. I want to talk about this because this was like kind of alluded to throughout this season. The whole like Jess's whole thing where she's like, I get it, their school, technically, I guess that's what was happening, but the whole athletes are rapists thing, that is such a, like, I don't like that. I don't like that people act like, oh, all jocks, all athletes are stupid. Like, that's like a stereotype. Like, all nerds must be good people. I hate that. I've known, what the fuck is that dinging? I've known so many, I'll just have to keep talking so that dinging, I guess, isn't as annoying. Just because like you're like technically nerdy, quote unquote, like nerdy, you're like a nerdy person means like you're smart. I've known nerdy people who like aren't that smart, and it doesn't mean you're nice and like a good person either. Like you have like the best morals or something. And like, guess what? Rapists, horrible people. I've talked about this a bunch, right? Like terrible. Like they're not all athletes. It's not like, oh, you're an athlete, like you're probably a rapist too. Like a very small percentage of athletes are rapists. And also athletes can be really smart. They're not all dumb. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of the writers who write this stuff are clearly writing it from their perspective, like, oh, like I wasn't a superstar athlete, so it's like, so then they just assume all these things, or maybe they did have a certain experience. I did have a conversation with somebody once where I thought it was so ridiculous that in like high school movies the jocks are always like throwing kids in lockers and stuff, and I'm like, man, like I remember people kind of being like a little shitty, I guess, a little bit. Like I don't remember high school being like that. I remember people, I never saw a kid get thrown in a locker. Like I never saw wedgies and all that stuff, and I just thought it was like way too cartoonish. And then I forgot who I was talking to this about, and they were like, oh, like that was kind of how my high school was. Like I saw that kind of shit happen. I'm like, oh really? I'm like, okay, maybe, I don't know. I never really had like when I got to high school, I never had like a group, because all my friends became like drug addicts and kind of like losers, and we were all basketball players and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like friends with everybody, but I didn't really have a group. I didn't fit in. I wasn't like, all my friends wanted to like drink all the time and smoke weed like early in the morning before school, skip school to smoke some weed, smoke weed at lunch, smoke weed after school. I was just like, what are we doing here? So I didn't want to do that, so they didn't want to hang out with me. But they all wanted to kick in, like, oh, hey, congrats, man, when I was like on TV and stuff. I love that. Anyways, so yeah, it's done at the football game. I don't like the whole, I just don't like painting all athletes as dumb and criminal, and you know, all people who, if you're like, you're not muscular, you must be a good person who's also really, really smart or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely exaggerating a lot, but that's kind of the vibe I tend to get, you know, from these things. So I wrote down, Bryce's mom seems to actually be a very terrible, out of touch mother most of his life, you know, by her own accord. Like, this lady did not pay attention, you know, whatever. And she kind of, and then like towards the end, like she starts being a good mom, or a better mom, and all that. I don't know. It just seemed like so weird, man. I feel bad for people who don't have great parents. My parents were great. I mean, they're not perfect. Obviously, things I disagree with and everything, but you know, one of the things that kills me. Oh, here I go. Because I'm trying not to bring up my kids so much. Because I know people who don't have kids like hate it. I just FaceTimed with my son before, like probably an hour ago, and he was just so sad that I wasn't there. He was like running away with my mom's watching him right now. And he was running away with my mom's phone and crying and whining, and like he didn't want my mom like to be near the phone because he knew that she might take it away from him, and like he wanted to keep me all to himself. And then it wasn't the whole time, but then like when I was like trying to say bye to him, he just started crying, and oh my god, dude, it's terrible. So my point is, my dad worked from home because he has his own business, that he started, and my dad was home all the time. Like he wasn't hanging out all the time. Like he was working. What in the fuck are they doing in my hallway? This is ridiculous. So I don't think I'm gonna get to that Wired article again, because this is just these. I can't have just loud banging noises throughout the whole podcast. So, anyways, my point is, my dad went to everything for me and my brother. Like if there was a sporting event or like a assembly where you get an award, whatever. I don't know, anything. Like my dad was always there, and that is like huge, man. That's why I got to find a way to stay in town more. Maybe this podcast takes off and I just podcast 7 podcasts a week, and then I can be with my family. But so anyways, like I want to be around my kids, and some people don't have that, you know what I mean? Some people lose parents, which is just tragic, and some people just have like, oh yeah, my dad, is always working out of town, or my dad was at the office all day and didn't really see him. So anyways, the last episode, here we go. Now I'm on to the last episode. So Monty's dad, when Monty finally gets arrested because Tyler like comes out and tells everybody what happened and everything, Monty's dad, when he goes and sees him in jail, spits in his face when Monty tells, like, he's like, because Monty's dad's like, what are you, a faggot? Like, just like, it's like the worst thing in the world, I guess, in that family. And Monty is gay, obviously. We found out this season. So he spits right in his face, and I know it was like a serious moment. All I thought was, what a great shot. How many times has Mr. De La Cruz spit in people's faces? Because he hit him right in the face. And he was standing up. Monty was sitting down, from what I remember. You're just spitting someone's face from that far away? What are the chances you just nail him right in the face? You'd like, maybe you get like a cheek and then mostly shoulder. This guy just hucks it straight in his son's face and nails him. And then Monty was like still handcuffed, so he was trying to like get it off, That sucks. So I thought that first try right in the face like that, I don't think I'd be able to do that, is my point. Another thing I wrote down, Ani and her mom have different accents, and I know why, because her mom's from Kenya and she grew up in the UK or whatever, because they left Africa when she was 4 or something. So anyways, I get it. All I was thinking is that's gotta be weird, you know what I mean? You and your kids have just completely different accents. What if I talk like this, and then, I had like an Indian kid, and he's just like, Daddy, can we go over here and do this? It's like, it's still my kid, you know what I mean? It's just weird, like our voices are that much different. Because her mom's just like, Annie, you cannot be around that boy. And then Annie's like, I know, Mum, but everything is blah, 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 blah. I'm super British. It's just like, you don't know Clay, he's a good chap. I do not want you around Clay. Like that's such a crazy difference, you know what I mean? You should not be sticking up for that Jensen boy. I still sound so congested. This is insane how long I stay sick. Probably doesn't help that I'm in this like non-ventilated cabin. Alright, so I thought that was weird. Okay, Tony's boyfriend. Can we talk about everything about Tony's character? And again, I love the guy that plays Tony and everything. And I love his character too, but it just seems so weird. His boyfriend is an adult, okay? And I get it. Tony's 18 now. But I think they even said something at one point. Caleb is his boyfriend. Caleb is black, by the way. I don't know a lot of black guys named Caleb. That sounds like a very white guy name. But anyway, I'm sure there are black guys named Caleb. So Caleb, he made some comment earlier, like, and you're 18 now or something. So that means he started dating when he was 17? How old's Caleb? Did they ever reference that in season 2 when they introduced him as a character? That's weird. I don't even care. Even if you're 20 and somebody else has turned 18 or whatever, but they're in high school and you're not, I think that's kind of strange. isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that happens a lot, but it's a little weird. If you're like 21, 22, and your boyfriend's 17, oh, he just turned 18 now, so now it's cool. It's like, it's a little, I think that's strange. I don't know. My daughter was 17 and her boyfriend was 20. That's, to me, just a big gap. You know what I mean? I'm not saying 20-year-olds are necessarily all worldly or anything, but you've been out of high school a couple years, and then my daughter's still in high school. Why are you dating her, dude? Go date somebody who's 19 or 20 or 18, but they graduated high school. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't know. I think that we're just like accepting that. Like, okay, cool. Caleb gets to sleep with dudes in high school, and that's not strange. Let me see. So I said when I left high school, I was done. Yeah, I didn't like go back to high school, and I don't think I did. I don't know. Did I talk to like girls from my old high school when I was out of high school? Maybe because of, like, social media. I don't know. I wrote dating a dude in high school is fucking weird if you're not in high school. Yeah, I agree. I just said that myself. So I'm still me from last night when I wrote that to today. Yeah, so Alex kills Bryce. We got that because Alex and Jess go to see him at the pier. And I don't fully understand the whole Alex and Jess relationship because I thought they like weren't cool, but then that's who she chose to bring as backup, a guy who walks with a limp. But I guess he takes steroids, so that's good. And he hates Bryce. And I think he fucking... Didn't Bryce turn into a piece of shit then, too? Wasn't he yelling something that made Alex... What happened? Oh, man, I'm missing the whole point. Like, why did Alex end up... I think he tried to, like, help him up, and he was screaming, and then something happened, and then that's why Alex, like, threw him into the water. But, anyways... Monty is killed in his jail cell. That was quick, right? Oh, he got killed in his jail cell? What? Like, what happened, you know? I guess that was the whole, like, do you know what they do to guys, to you in jail? Because that's what his dad said to him, because he sexually assaulted, Tyler, which is kind of true. I know child molesters get fucking, like, beat to fucking shit in jail and prison because a lot of people were molested that end up in prison. Because it fucks up your life. That's why child molesters are pieces of fucking shit, on top of the already obvious reason why they're pieces of shit. Another thing I think I talked about, my weird death penalty rant the other day. Like, can't we all agree, if you are caught red-handed, like, molesting children, and it's 100% for sure you did it, why can't we just kill you? Like, that's my whole death penalty pitch. Yeah, not like if there's reasonable doubt, but a jury decided, okay, I get it, you might be innocent. But if it's totally for sure, I don't get why we need to, like, oh, maybe we'll rehabilitate you. Yeah, that'll make people feel good. A child molester goes to prison for a while, then he's in your neighborhood. You just have to hope that this guy, who was able to get away with it for a long time before he got caught, is going to be cool. Like, okay, fuck that a million times over. Again, email me in the show notes if you have some opinions on it. Let me see. Deputy Standell covers for his son. What about that, huh? Deputy Standell knows it was his kid. He was like, my wife's car was there, the tracks, in the dirt and everything. How did, like, that's what I understand. He's the only one that knows that? How's he the only one that knows that? Did he hide that file? Maybe he hid that file or something. Because there was that scene where he's like, oh, like, do we have any, like, tire tracks or whatever, or something? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, we got this, but it rained that night, so it's whatever. But so why was he able to go, oh, that's my wife's car, for sure, and no one else did? Everyone else was like, yeah, whatever, dude, I don't know, man, it rained that night. What am I, a fucking expert? What is my job? Then they go to, like, it's Thanksgiving and everything. Why is Jess at the Standalls for Thanksgiving? I didn't get that. Did I miss something? If anybody watched this season, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you must have watched, why is she at the Standalls for Thanksgiving? She's with Alex and Deputy Standall and all that. Why isn't she with her parents? What happened with her parents? Jess had good parents, I thought. Her dad was in the show this season a little bit, but why? I don't get it. Like, is she supposed to be back with? There was no, like, reference like they were together or something. And her and Justin were more in love than ever after she found out about Justin being molested and how he was like, oh, I didn't bring it up because, you need to go through your stuff, like, you deserve that, which was, like, super cool of Justin, by the way, right? Then they find the guns. Oh, finally some fisherman finds the guns, right? I thought Tony was supposed to be so good at, like, getting rid of stuff. Wouldn't you put the guns in a bag and, like, weight them So they sunk all the way to the bottom and they never came back up. I guess not, Tony. I guess you are a teenager who doesn't know what he's doing, and you're not the man who we thought you were. So then, I love this. And then I got one more thing, which I do think is kind of funny. Winston, who's Monty's secret lover, that's where Monty was that night when Bryce was killed. He was having sex with Winston, right? Because he saw him at the game. And so, hey man, sorry I almost killed you. By the way, when Monty beat him up at that party, that was an insane, they always in TV shows and movies act like people can just take 50 straight shots to the face while their head is against the pavement and they're not going to, if that happens in real life, the way Monty was beating the crap out of him, that guy's got, first off, his face is probably, his cheekbone, everything's probably all fucked up, and he had to have, reconstructive surgery on his face. He might die from, a bleeding brain or something, brain hemorrhage, and, he might be fucked up for life. He might have, disability for you can't just punch a guy as hard as you can with his head against a curb or the stairs, the concrete stairs like that. How many times did Monty punch him? And then it's just oh, I get it, man, cool, you want to go have sex right now? It's I don't know, man. If I blow a guy and then I just say bye to him at a party and then he beats the shit out of me that bad, I'm not hanging out with that guy anymore. Even though I get it, Monty had all this aggression because he was on the down low and stuff. Okay, I get it, but I'm still not cool with it. You know what I mean? You almost killed me. So, and also I feel it was weird Bryce never said, dude, what was that about? And if you remember, Bryce just kind of laughed it off, I think, when he got in the car, typical Monty, almost murdering somebody for saying, hey, man, nice meeting you. So, that was a little strange. So anyways, so that, sets up, the guns are found, Winston's not cool with, Ani lying to the cops. He knows she lied to the cops because he knows that Monty was with him. So that's just setting up season 4, right? Winston coming out of the woodwork. I just thought they really got rid of Monty really fast with the whole, oh yeah, you probably don't know this, but he got killed in jail because we are the shittiest police department ever. Was Monty even an adult? How old was Monty? Was he 18 or was he 17? Because I don't think he should be with the regular prisoners in county jail or whatever if he was still a kid. So anyways, here's the thing that I do actually find funny. So, was this I think it was the last scene. It's towards the end. What's his face? Justin, who works at Monet's, right? He stands up and tells everyone's there, and they're like, hey guys, Tyler took this picture of me, and I was like, oh, blah, 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 but then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, it's so great, and I told him he should do, an exhibit at Monet's, so here it is, and then Tyler goes and is like, hey, it's so great to have friends, and you're like, I'm feeling really good for Tyler at that point, and then they unveil a huge wall at Monet's coffee shop where they all hang out, that is just all Tyler's pictures. Who the fuck runs Monet's? Who is the manager? Who is the owner? These kids just do anything they want at Monet's. Justin, from what we know, is a fairly new employee, right? He just started working there this season. I mean, I know they jumped around a lot in the timeline, but what is he, running the show now? The guy who was selling drugs out of there? It's he just gets to have his friend put up a bunch of pictures, and Tyler goes, these are all the people who helped me, right? So I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get how Justin, who's a fairly new employee, is allowed to implement a permanent photo exhibit of random teens across an entire wall. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so Tyler says, these are all the people who helped me, in the last year and everything. So it's really sweet. There's a couple people, that girl he dated, who is the sister of that punk rock guy or whatever. I think that was that guy's sister. Remember, that all kind of got weird there because he came in the movie theater in season 2 and I think she touched his hand or whatever. Good for him, by the way. If you can come just off of that, you're gonna have a lot of orgasms. But anyways, she was barely, she wasn't really even in this season. I thought she would be. I thought maybe they'd reconnect because Tyler should have never been mean to her because he was just embarrassed about what happened and all that. That girl got no love this season. I thought she was gonna get more love. I thought the punk rocker guy would get a little bit more. He got some. I guess there's a lot of characters though. But what's his face on the wall? Zach's on the wall, and he even asks Tyler why am I up there? And Tyler's like, oh, you don't like the picture? He's like, oh no, I actually makes me look handsome or something, whatever. But and then Zach tells him like, dude, I'm so sorry. What happened to you? If I would have known, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? So Zach doesn't even know why he's on the wall. Why is Bryce not on the wall? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, Bryce, I keep saying he's a piece of shit too, but Bryce did go and help Tyler. Like, he did. So he stuck up to him for Monty and all that stuff. And he left him a message. He's like, yeah, it's taken care of. Like, he tried to help Monty, or tried to help Tyler, you know. So I don't know. Whatever. I just think it's weird that Justin gets to just throw an exhibit and all that stuff. And there's never seems to be anyone really in charge at Monet's. And whatever. I guess it's a TV show. You know, guys? I guess it's a TV show. All right. I will record another. I'll get to that Wired article, talk about some new stuff. I'm done with 13 Reasons Why. I know there's probably people who are like, I didn't even watch that show. But there you go. Please rate 5 stars. You're the best.
Thank you for listening to my daddy.